when you are getting on the phone with them, why are they not getting submitted and moved forward to an interview? Are you not submitting them? Is that because the candidate is saying, never mind, this is not the right opportunity? Or you had a chance to talk to them and realize they're actually not qualified for this position?
Initiating becoming a hiring machine sequence in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, friend. Welcome back for part 3 of our ratio series. Can't believe this will be third. Yeah, so we're saying these ones are going to be quick, easy. Ratios have been, I don't want to call it talk of town, talk of Loxo, talk of some of our customers. So, okay, let's talk ratios. Let's go deep on it. So, for those who haven't yet, go back and listen to, as I'm pulling up this list, anyone who wants to see episode 240, where we did ratios part 1, episode 242, where we did ratios part 2, and you're listening to episode 244, which is going to be part 3. So, Viv, what do we have today that we're going to cover on the ratios front?
Screening call to interview.
Screening call to interview. All right, let's do it. So, ratios here. Why should they be focused on this one?
Yeah. So for rookie recruiters, 10 screening calls that will convert into 1 interview. And for more advanced ones, should be closer to 5 screening calls to 1 interview. And what you want to look at with this ratio when you're trying to figure out how can I improve this ratio is when you are getting on the phone with them, why are they not getting submitted and moved forward to an interview? Are you not submitting them? Is that because the candidate is saying, never mind, this is not the right opportunity? Or you had a chance to talk to them and realize they're actually not qualified for this position? Then this goes back to write down that feedback. What was not quite as optimal as you initially thought? What was your thought process so that you can optimize this on the sourcing and outreach front? Because then you're sourcing essentially the wrong people. And sometimes you really just can't tell until you get on the phone because their experience is so vague, their titles are so generic. So it looks like they might be the right fit until you have a conversation. So take this with a grain of salt and really take a look at, okay, could you objectively have done better when you were sourcing? Could you have known this at the time of sourcing? Granted, if you're new, you're learning about the new roles. So you learn as you go. So the next time that you go back to sourcing additional candidates, just keep in mind what you learned about the screening calls where you were like, this is not quite the right one. Then if the candidate says, actually, I am not interested in this, ask them why were they interested to have a conversation with you to begin with, to better understand where was the disconnect. If it's just, they misunderstood the role, there was something that happened communication-wise that intrigued them, which is great. That's positive feedback for you, but it wasn't quite the right opportunity. Now, if it's a compensation disconnect, that's an entirely different story. Write that down, pass it on to the hiring manager. But if they were like, oh, this sounds really interesting, I want to have a conversation with you, and then they're like, wait, never mind, I don't want to do any of this. Keep that in mind so that when you're doing outreach, you can vet out the people that will have the same sentiment, and you can start including that in your communications. It doesn't have to be in like the first message, but in like the follow-up ones.
Okay. So if you had to simplify it down to like, what are 3 main things that we're looking for to help figure out, like, should I advance this person to interview? You know, are we covering comp in this? Are we covering expectations? Are we covering, what are some of those common qualifiers or disqualifiers that you would look at?
So you want to get like the must-have experiences and skills from the hiring manager. And when you ask about them, you really want to hear from the candidate that they're explaining it in a way where somebody who is completely disconnected with 0 experience can understand what it is that they're talking about. That's a good qualifier that they know what they're talking about. You should advance them forward. You also want to know what are they looking for in there to make a career move. Why are they even interested in making a career move? Because that is also going to influence whether they're actually going to move forward and actually take the position, assuming everything else aligns, or if they're just going to randomly ghost you because they're like, they didn't have that much emotional buy-in. So you want to know, why are they even interested in something new? Because that means something is not in alignment at their current place. Whatever that is, that cannot repeat itself at the new place. You have to get ahead of that. And then you also want to cover compensation. People have living expenses. Nobody lives for free. That is something that is important. Some people don't mind taking a pay cut. I see this quite a lot. People get into like C-suite or like VP level, they're like, I've been there, I've done that, I don't want to do this. And then they drop back down to be a little bit more hands-on on like a director type role. It happens all the time. People change priorities. It is totally fine. It happens. And so they're knowing me taking a pay cut. So yeah, just kind of take a look at, are they actually genuinely qualified? Why are they switching? Would it make sense to make a switch to this? If they don't like a collaborative environment, and this is a very collaborative environment, tell them, to be completely honest, they're very collaborative. You mentioned you don't like how collaborative your current situation is. I don't want to match you up with something that you're then going to detest. I want to find the right home for you where you're going to be happy. Let them say, you're right, never mind, I don't want to move forward. And compensation is important too.
Yeah, makes sense. Love it. I mean, these are three pretty straightforward things. And like you said, it's a combination of those. And then, as you said, just keep that list going so you can get ahead of what can I improve as I'm sourcing. But that's ultimately, like you said, that's what's going to take you from, 10 to 1 down to 5 to 1. And that's how we're ultimately going to level up just this overall, your ratios, this whole fun little geeky series that we're doing here. So yeah, this was fun. This was a good part 3. So everyone else, stay tuned. Part 4 next week as we get into interviews to placements. Dun, dun, dun. Stay tuned. Until then. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.